Good day and welcome to our podcast, Elevating Today. My name is Aakash Patel, President and founder of Elevating. We are a strategic business consulting firm helping companies in the Tampa area learn, connect, and grow throughout the community. We feature great guests like our clients today, Stephen Gunnin, who you're going to hear from in a few minutes. I'll start over. Good day and welcome to our podcast, Elevating Today. My name is Aakash Patel, President and founder of Elevating. We were started in 2012 with the premise of helping community leaders learn, connect, and grow throughout the Tampa area. Today's guest is Stephen Gunnin. This is Season 1, Episode 21, and we're so excited to learn about Replenish IV. Before we do that, I want to recognize one of our great clients for many years, Pilot Bank. Pilot Bank has a great announcement in Tracy Holt. Tracy is just been accepted to Leadership Tampa. We want to congratulate her. She is very involved in the community. She serves Meals on Wheels, the Children's Museum, Metropolitan Ministries, and she's always willing to give back. Congratulations, Tracy, on being selected to Leadership Tampa 2021. Thanks so much for all your hard work, and we appreciate you at Pilot Bank. Good day, welcome to our podcast. This is Aakash Patel with Elevate Inc., and this is Season 1, Episode 21. And my guest today is Stephen Gunnin with Replenish IV Solutions. Stephen, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Aakash?
Good, thanks so much for joining us. Now, for the folks at home that don't know a little bit about you, tell us where you're from and your business.
So, Replenish IV, we started about we're into our 7th year now, and we located here in Tampa. I mean, originally, myself, I'm from Georgia, but we've lived in Tampa for so long, I'm native now, so.
Now, your career, you've been a public servant. So talk about your career as a public servant.
So, my first job was in sales and everything like that. But then, 9/11 kind of hit me pretty hard. I was standing in my living room during 9/11, and I was like, I need to do something different. So I decided to go into the fire service. I went to the fire academy, went to EMT, got hired on, and became a public servant. I was out in Plant City for almost, right at 10 years. And became a paramedic, and that kind of pushed me into the medical field and, kind of a desire to help people.
So your friends and family that know you, they've seen you grow, they've seen your success, but you decided to become a firefighter. What was going through their minds? What did they talk to you about when you said they were going to be a firefighter?
They were shocked.
And how'd you react?
Well, it's kind of like, it was kind of like a flip switch in your head. You're like, something just didn't seem right with what I was doing anymore, and I wanted to do something different. And it just, like I said, it was a desire to help people and to want to, do the best I could. It's like I was doing okay in my sales career, but it was like, when you don't feel it in your heart, you got to do something different. Well,
Correct.
It just, watching that whole thing unfold, I was like, I needed to do something different. So really, it was a desire to help people.
Your experience as a firefighter, what do you think you learned from that and shapes you today?
Yeah, learning that was a completely different lifestyle from sales. You learn how that you have to be part of a team, that you have to work together to accomplish a common goal. Like whether it's a traffic accident, a fire, a serious patient, you have to work in conjunction with your group and function, to where you're accomplishing a more serious goal than just a sale, which is important in a sales career. But you're there you have somebody's life or somebody's future in your hands by doing the right thing or the wrong thing, and you always want to do the right thing.
So did you come home one day and talk to your wife and say, hey, I'm going to quit being a firefighter and become an entrepreneur?
It was a lot of things. As firefighters, as people tell you, it's hard on your life because you're depending on how busy you are, you're away from your family 24 hours at a time. And sometimes if you have to work extra, you're away 48 hours at a time. It's hard on the body too. I'm not going to be, I taught EMTs and paramedics, but you cannot always lift the right way. And I did damage to the body, the back, the shoulders, and everything like that. And it just came a point where I'm like, I'm not being as effective as I need to anymore. And it's too hard on me. It's too hard on my life with my family. And so we just kind of had a talk one day, and we're like, hey, what about we do something else? What can we do? So at the time, I was still teaching at a school for EMTs and paramedics, and then that was coming to an end because they got bought out and it was getting close. We're like, what do you want to do? So my wife and I, she had seen something on TV about an IV place out in Las Vegas or whatever, and we like, hey, can we adapt this to something that we can do here and offer something for more proactive? There's always going to be that type of market for the recovery market, but it feels really good when we can go help somebody who's got a chronic condition, who needs a proactive wellness, who travels a lot, who works a lot, to get a boost. And it really, that's what we did it. I mean, yes, you want to have a good business, but to feel like you have a good business and you can help somebody, I mean, that's a double win.
So when you were researching, because obviously starting a business is hard.
Yes.
What was the consensus on why this would succeed? Because you obviously had a vision, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't just me. It's my wife and I. Literally, we talked about this and we talked about this, and we're like, there's got to be a niche market. There's a place in between doing nothing, going to the doctor, going to the hospital. There's that space there where you can be proactive. Like anytime, if you're taking medication for something, say you have a high blood pressure, or you're taking something, if you're dehydrated, if you don't have your body and your immune system up, or your hydration, all the medication is not going to be as effective. So if you can help somebody be more proactive about, hey, we're giving you a good vitamin mix, your minerals are right, your body's functioning better, and if you have to take medicine, it's more effective. But if you can avoid taking it by, being an adjunct to your lifestyle, and that's being like positive health, good eating, mental and physical activity, and then an adjunct of doing an IV when you need that extra boost. That's kind of like a whole positive way of doing things, instead of just like, hey, I'm going to go take a pill to get better from something, or like, I'm going to go lose weight, so I'm going to take a medication or a pill. This kind of helps. We're an adjunct to being a good lifestyle choice.
So did you write a business plan and share it with others to get some feedback, or how does one start an IV business?
We kind of wrote on napkins and things like that, and kind of had some ideas, and literally we were like penning stuff, and we were sitting like at our kitchen table and like talking about this or talking about over stuff, and we bounced out a few ideas, because I think we were the second place in the Tampa Bay area, and the other place has since changed names and gone away, but now it's a more popular thing. But we were literally looking around the country for places like that, and the only one we could find is the one that we saw originally in Vegas, and they're pretty in Las Vegas, it's pretty much for the party crowd, but we wanted to adapt this to it, so we're like, how can we do this and be, adapt it to a clientele for being more proactive? There's times a year in Tampa where there's still the party crowd, Gasparilla, New Year's Eve, those things like that, but we wanted this to be a business year round, not just like here and there type thing, to where we could help people all walks of life, and our clientele can be from 15 and up all the way to 80 years old. There's a whole range of different conditions, different lifestyles, different goals for people that they have that we can help out with.
Yeah, so talk about that. So people watching that never heard of your company, or heard of the process of IV treatment, who are you looking for?
Okay, like for example, the person who has like some, I don't want to say bad condition, like now COVID is a big thing right now. Unfortunately, we can't see somebody with active COVID. We would love to. Obviously. We would love to. I myself, as soon as I was on the downside of it, I got IVs, and I can tell you, getting that boost of energy, hydration, vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, I recovered a whole lot quicker. Because if you haven't had COVID, I mean, it affects everybody differently, but I can tell you, I had a fever of over 104 for several days. The mental aspect of it was very challenging. If you have any, like I had bad knee from a previous injury. I woke up several nights with it feel like somebody was stabbing me in the leg, because it would just attack your body in different ways. And now we're finding out that people are having problems, long-term problems, potentially with heart issues because of COVID. So there's some lasting effects. So doing something for proactive wellness before you get it to boost your immune system up, like we're doing a lot of D3, a lot of zinc, a lot of vitamin C. But afterwards,
you do B12 as well.
Oh, B12 is in everything we do, unless you specifically say you don't want it. And but doing those to help build your immune system up, but also to get your body repaired if you did have it. I mean, those are things like we can help out with. People with asthma, we use a lot of minerals and everything like that. But one in particular is magnesium. Magnesium is a smooth muscle relaxer. Yeah. Helps your bronchial trees, help your muscles relax. And getting rid of sleep. Helps you sleep a little bit too. That's a perfect thing. A lot of people don't realize that taking, a lot of people look at melatonin, but having a good mineral mix in your life is like magnesium can really help your body relax and kind of get towards that place they fall asleep and get more restful sleep.
So your target customer is anyone who wants to feel better.
Anyone who wants to feel better, anyone who needs to, and again, we don't diagnose, we don't treat. We're in that space of like proactive wellness, or we can help out. But anybody who needs a boost, whether, nowadays it's not so much traveling, but a lot of working from home. Working from home, I don't know, I mean, you're out and about a fair amount, but how many times have you had Zoom meetings all day?
It's Zoom fatigue right now, it's just you too many hours on Zoom.
Exactly, so it's like you tell everybody, I got my Zoom outfit on, I got my shirt and my shorts on, but you're sitting sitting there. You've got to learn to balance out that. That's a hard thing, and that causes like stress. I mean, there's a lot of stress because you're trying to do stuff with home, work, kids, and it's all in the same place. You're not separated now, to where you've got that time where you have the dedicated time here or there. So that's causing stressful. And then to deal with that stressful lifestyle, what do people do? Sometimes they overeat. Sometimes they don't sleep enough. Sometimes they go, they may do other things to kind of help relax. We try to provide a positive environment with our IVs to help them, get a good leg up. I mean, proactive wellness. But like again, we'll have sports players that come to us because their body is how they make money. We talked yesterday about the basketball team that's in town, or the Bucks, or the Lightning, or
the Tampa Bay Raptors, or Toronto Raptors.
the Toronto Tampa Rappers, however they want to call it now. But yeah, they're in town. But like football players, they make their money with their body. And before this business, I didn't realize how much some people that are really serious pro athletes, how much they spend on taking care of their body.
Of course,
they've got whether they could say us as IV therapies, massage, cupping, chiropractor, all sorts of training levels that they have to go through before, during, and after the season. So I mean, again. Teenage athletes have become a big thing. High schoolers. I mean, there's a ton of pressure on them academically, physically, to try to get into a good college, to perfect their craft, so they get the attention of a D1 school, to get to college, to go on and move forward. Student athlete, or just regular students, I mean, there's a ton of pressure. So when you say who's our target audience, it's probably easier to say who's not our target audience, which would be under 15 years of age, or people that really do no longer make their own decisions, or people. But we actually have elderly people that we see a lot because, again, just for the hydration, give a little bit of boost of energy, hydration, minerals, and it's something that, a lot of people don't drink enough water. I myself, I have to go get IVs from time to time because it's like you're just all the time going and going and going. And you don't think about it,
So, you started this business and you had one location.
Yes.
Talk about your first location and why did you open a second location?
Oh, wow. So our first location, when we first opened, we had a small little, like a probably 8 by 10 room in an executive office, and this goes back to 2014. And then we were in a couple different gyms and things like that, and we were working there. Our first own location with us, we opened in 2017 in Gandy, and it's... it's
Sorry,
scared.
tell me where it is, Gandy and what?
Yeah, we're between West Shore and Manhattan. I hate to say this, but everybody goes, when you start telling them where you're at, and I go, okay, do you know where the Hooters is at? We're diagonally across. Okay, I know where you're at. So it's like you could tell them all you want. We're on the north side of Gandy between West Shore and Manhattan, but you got to give them a little more landmark. So we opened that in 2017. That was our first by ourselves location. 2 years later, year and a half later, we opened up in Carrollwood, up right off of Bears and Dale Mabry. And now we actually have a third location, a satellite location up in Wesley Chapel. We're inside of Florida Floats, which is the float spa. So we do that. Thank you. We do that one by appointment only. But another thing that COVID has also really increased is our at-home or at-work visits. A lot of people don't realize that we will come to your house. We have our registered nurse come to your house, check you out, do a quick little evaluation, make sure that you're okay to receive a proactive IV, because some people aren't. I mean, like if you had a heart condition, depending on or a kidney problem. Those are something that, then again, we don't get involved with because now we're kind of getting in the way of the doctor and what they need to be doing. So there's things that we stay out of just because it's not where we need to be. If everything's good, we get them set up. And the whole process usually takes, from start to finish, 45 to 60 minutes at the most.
So you've created this successful business, you and your wife have, and you're obviously, opening more locations, and you've got a vision, you've got a strategy. And then March hits, and it's called COVID-19.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind?
We didn't, like a lot of people, we just didn't know what to think. We had no idea what to think. And the weird thing for us in March was one of our busier months because I think people, when that started coming, people were like, oh God, let's do something. So we had a very active month in March. So that's what I'm saying. Personally, our whole life was starting to get a little out of, and in end of June and July, it's really hit home with us. But in March, things kind of business was started spiking because people were like, getting prepared. I hate to use this reference, but it's true. It's almost like Home Depot before the hurricane hits. They go get wiped out. So people were coming in trying to get their immune system boosted up and trying to get, really just prepared. And then April and May were kind of like, that's when things really kind of like, oh God. So we had a little bit of a slowdown in April, May, but then it's kind of been like peaks and valleys.
Yeah, I came in June. I remember coming in and calling you on your Saturday morning and saying I need to come in, and we weren't even working together at that point. I just said I need to come in and feel better. So talk about your personal experience with COVID, if you could.
Yeah, so when, back in, I guess, the end of June, both myself and my mother-in-law, who lived with us, and she'd lived with us for 5 years, caught COVID. again, you could drive yourself crazy trying to figure out how it got in your household, but she was out a lot. She was a very active 80-something-year-old. She was out every day at the store. Driving to the stores. She would go to her, she had her thing about her mailbox. She always had to have her mail delivered to a mailbox, and this goes back to years, and we used to make fun of her, give her a hard time about it, but this was her thing. She had to have it. So, but she would go to Publix every day, sometimes Walgreens, sometimes the dollar. It was like Publix, Walgreens, the dollar store, the post office, and then home. And a doctor's appointment if she had it. That was her route. And then, so the day I got diagnosed with COVID, my family got me into a location away from the family where I was just by myself. A day and a half later, she was hiding it apparently. That she was symptoms, and she didn't want to say anything. And then, to the point where she couldn't, she didn't have a choice. And then the paramedics came and took her, and unfortunately, I think it was 7 or 8 days later, we lost her.
I'm so sorry.
I appreciate that. And it was hard too, doubly, because 5 days after that, my mom passed away. But my mom was in an assisted living facility, and it was, it was her time, but it was just the timing of it at all. I mean, within a 1 month period, I get COVID, my mother-in-law gets COVID and dies, and then my mom dies. And unfortunately, I couldn't go to either funeral. And my dad and my brothers took my mom back up to Georgia, where we're initially from, and they had burial plots, and I couldn't go there. So it was a very hard time. So COVID for us is I know that a lot of people want to call it the Rona, and it's, sometimes we get involved in that too, but it's a very real thing. And we just ask everybody, take care of yourself. Take care, do the best thing you can. I mean, everybody wants to feel like they're having a normal life, but at what cost is it going to come to if you don't protect yourself and protect others? So, and I'll say that as far as our business, we're very, very careful in our business. We always cleaned and we always did a good job of disinfecting. But I tell everybody, we have done more in the 9 months since COVID hit. We've bought more PPE, more disinfectant, had people come in and clean the office more. We've spent more in this year than we have in the previous 2 years combined for buying equipment and disinfectant and cleaning supplies, just because of, you just have no choice. It's not, everything has to be cleaned. It's not like, well, you just wipe everything down with disinfectant like they do at hospitals, when somebody comes in. You're wiping everything down. Keyboards, door handles, windows, tables, floors. You're frequently disinfecting the entire office, whether anybody's there or not, because you don't want to ever be a part of, spreading what's going on.
Now, it's so interesting because I was at the Chief of Staff at Tampa General Hospital the other day, and we're talking about this. I mean, this has permanently changed your business.
Yeah.
Because you're going to spend X amount on cleaning as you have to, because you just said the reasons why.
Exactly.
But as far as the people that you're going to see every day, obviously they have different opinions. You've got to do your job.
Yes.
And they've got to do whatever they've got to do. Do you face what do you call it, a conflict at all when you're talking to your customers?
So here's the thing. We've got a couple customers that really say, look, I can wear a mask into your facility, or I can wear a mask, but that I can only do it for short time. So we've got one client that when we go to them, we literally our nurse will sit on their porch to get the IV going and do it, because they don't want anybody in their house, but they don't want to come into an office. So we'll do some special things for that. Another client who has very bad asthma that can wear a mask to the office, but we literally schedule a block of time where he is in there by himself for that 45 minutes. There's no other clients there. Once he leaves, everything is disinfected again completely before another client comes in. And our nurse always wears a mask. Our nurse always wears gloves, goggles, the whole 9 yards. When we go into somebody's house, we'll wear booties on the feet. They're wearing goggles, they're wearing masks, they're doing everything. When they come out of it, they're spraying down the equipment. Like we have a kit that they go in there with. That's getting sprayed down with alcohol, because alcohol is a little bit better disinfectant. And then they're wiping it in there, with a disinfectant brand, Calvicide, for example, before they bring it back into the office or anything like that. And we have a little mister, and I thought it was funny. My wife bought these little alcohol misters, and they light up. But literally, they spray alcohol so it kind of can kill some of the germs that are on you. I mean, we're just doing anything we can to protect it. And we feel super bad, because we would love to help out COVID patients. I mean, I think literally, I've told my nurses this, I've probably turned away more business this year than I have in the previous years we've been in business combined, whether it's been from heart conditions, things like that. But they call up and say, well, we've got COVID. And I said, I would love to help you. We would love to send our nurse there, but we just can't, because we have no way of protecting them or having them from bringing it home to their family.
So today is 2021, and let's just forget about 2020, right?
Sure.
Where is Stephen and Lisa and Replenish IV in 5 years?
In 5 years, we hope to, be, if somebody asked me this the other day, we hope to be triple what we're doing now.
So 9 locations, or what's
you know, we're at 9 locations, or have the staff to be able to go out to, because I think that right now, especially, that it's going to be more, you know, we're going out to. We participate in corporate wellness. So like, for example, we'll send somebody out and we'll, like, this is a small boardroom table. We'll have a company that goes out and
we're 6 feet apart.
We're at least, but they'll have people that literally, one client we go to, they have a huge table, and this is probably 11 people that seriously are more than 6 feet apart, but our nurse will go in there and they actually have a, you know, a little impromptu board meeting while all of them are getting IVs.
Wow.
So I think we will, as far as like location-wise, maybe triple, but being able to handle triple the capacity of what we're handling now is what we're looking at.
Yeah, and at Elevating, we obviously have loved working with you, and I'll show a picture on the screen right now of me getting the IV treatment not too long ago, and I tell people that I was wearing my mask. Obviously, you have to, and you know, you feel rejuvenated, you feel happy, you feel energized, and for the people at home that obviously have not done this treatment, it's a whole new experience, but you're also going to a world that people want to, you know, live longer.
Sure. Oh yeah, you know, people are trying to, you know, here's the thing. The biggest thing about dealing with anything, especially with the pandemic now, is adjusting your lifestyle. And we don't think we're the end-all to beat-all. We think we're a good adjunct to being a part of a healthy lifestyle. So say you wanted to go out and be a professional football player. You've got to change your workout, change your diet. Well, in your case, maybe grow 3 feet. I'm just kidding. But you know, but we know what I'm saying. There's a whole regiment that you would have to do. We're just one of those adjuncts to it. But I think people in general are seeing that if they want to be in better health, not just for COVID, but to live longer and healthier, doing something like this as part of your good lady thing. Because as you know, if you take medications, when you take 1 or 2 medications, and in 2 to 3 years, those become 3 to 4 medications, and in 5 to 6 years, those become 5 to 6 medications. The more medications you can avoid taking by taking care of yourself, whether it's changing your food intake. We've been plant-based for over a year, and I can tell you that there's a lot of things that I feel better about now that I don't eat, because it creates inflammation in your body. So there's it's just a whole lifestyle thing. It's part of being a good, healthy lifestyle choice so that you can be healthier. And it's not just for COVID, because everybody forgets now, we're in the midst of flu season now. So what's the difference between COVID and flu? Just the actual diagnosis. You're going to get a fever. You're going to feel like, you know, like garbage for a while, depending on if you have underlying conditions. With COVID is how hard it takes hold of you.
Now in business, Stephen, you've done really well, obviously.
Thank you.
And you've obviously talked to a lot of people. Is there a mentor that's changed your life?
You know, I would love to say there's a whole bunch of people. I think there's, you know, I take a little bit from a lot of people, whether it's like when I was in the fire department, my EMS chief, you know, he was kind of a quirky guy, but he really was passionate about it. And my chief at the department at the time, he was a very strong guy, but he would be the guy that would, you know, you'd kick you in the pants, but then he'd go out and have a drink with you and say, hey, look, here's what I was trying to get at. You know, my dad, he and I didn't always see eye to eye to things, but yeah, he gave me some good, you know, some good things. You know, and I don't say I'm not buttering up on my wife. She's kind of, at times, her and I butt heads about things, but you know, she's had a strong work ethic that came through her mom. Her mom was like a bulldog when she was out in business. I mean, she thrust that on me a little bit, but you know, you always take a little bit. I'm sure you've probably got a bunch of different people that have helped you, because you're very successful in what you've done over the years.
I appreciate that.
And if you can't learn from other people and take a little bit of positive away from it and hope to avoid the negative, and as my wife will tell you, I got to avoid the negative, because I'm always like the sky's falling, and I'm trying to make sure the sky doesn't fall.
You're the half glass full or half glass empty?
I'm just a half glass. Some days it's half full, some days it's half empty. I'm kind of like right on the border. I'm trying to make sure that the glass always stays closer to full than empty, but you know, you get nervous about it. You're an entrepreneur as well, and it's like, you know, there's a scary business about being an entrepreneur, because you always feel like you have to protect your business. You know, there's always, you know, you want to be doing the best job you can and making sure that you're, you know, staying relevant and protecting yourself, because, you know, hey, this is your life, you know, like Elevate is Aakash's life, Replenish IV is my wife and mine's life, and it's like, we want to do the best job we can to keep moving it forward.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you, so people must be changing their lifestyles right now,
yes.
right? Unfortunately, the unemployment numbers are high. They might have to start their own careers over, or they might start their own business. What do you tell people that is just going to start a business today?
Do your research. Make sure that you're doing something. Don't just jump onto a business that's me too because you think, oh, I can do that too. I can tell you that we started this on a wing and a prayer. We actually took I took an early retirement from the fire department. We took that retirement and invested into
pension
this.
and all that,
Yeah,
yeah.
we took it into that, and we put it all into starting the business. And it's like, do your research. Make sure that you know that this does have the success of it. Not a matter that you have the determination, but that there's a path for you to get there. Because it's like, I mean, you can have great ideas in your head, but they don't translate well onto paper. Make sure that you do it and have the dedication. It's hard to get down. I'll tell you, I'll be the first to say that I get really down at times, but then, you know, my wife or, you know, wanting to do better for your family or being scared to be out on the street, whatever your motivation is, you have to kick that in to make sure that you keep moving forward. But yeah, do your research on things and understand what you're getting into. Because, I mean, entrepreneur is great and starting a business, but it's not for everybody. You know, and some people, like we've had people call us, I don't know how you do this because I've got to have that weekly paycheck. You know, there's times when we started, I mean, we begged, borrowed, stealed. I mean, I think I told you the first time we talked, I mean, when you said, how was it? I said, well, for the first 3 years, my wife and I are like, what the hell were we thinking doing? But once you start gaining a little traction and moving forward, you know, don't get caught up in the success. Try to keep grasping for that success and doing the right thing, because that's sometimes people like, well, I've accomplished this, I've made it. Well, as quickly as you make it, you can lose it.
That is true. I started Elevating in 2012 and didn't take a salary till 2014, and you know, it's one of those tough things. But you know, people also read a lot. I know you read a lot.
Yeah.
Is there a book that you read that you recommend to our viewers that kind of, I would say, shaped the way your business mindset is today? You
know, I don't know if there's one in particular. I listen to one. You know, I do a lot of audiobooks because I can do it while I'm doing other things. The one that I listened to recently was one by Robin Sharma called The 5 a.m. Club. Yeah. And he really talks about, you know, getting your mindset right in the morning. And I struggle with that. Trust me, I wish I said I was as dedicated as it. But he talks about getting your mindset right in the morning, taking that time in the morning before you start, before Aakash picks up the phone and starts texting somebody or emailing. Getting your mind right, getting a little exercise.
Is it meditation, or what do you do? What's your routine?
So, like, basically, try to get up and do a little exercise. Try to get up and have a little, whether it's meditation, you know, positive thinking, reaffirmation, and then think about what you want to do. What's your top goals for that day? And in that 20-20-20, in that whole little time frame, get ready for the day, and then start your day. You know, but have that time to where you can prepare to get ready. You know, and for me right now, sometimes it's just I'll be honest with you, it's laying in bed and thinking about, okay, I've got to do this and this and this, and think about, hey man, I can do this. But I struggle with it too. My wife will tell you, there's days where she's throwing a pillow at me, like, what are you doing? But you know, we're all still developing the positive way to do it. But I mean, you know, things like that, listening to books like that and doing stuff. And honestly, you know, a couple of things I've gone to with you, that talk by that general that we went to that one night was very impressive. Very, you know, I mean, you think about stuff that people like that have gone through, and you know, and he's just doing it like it's a regular day at the office. And for us, we'd be like, holy crap, you know. But then,
you think about the military and what they've gone through, and what that general specifically went to. So, you know, obviously you're a parent, and you're a husband, and you have responsibilities at home, and then you have responsibilities in the community. How do you balance that?
Having a wife that hasn't killed me yet. There's days that like she is the more dominant home person. There's days that I'm the more dominant home person. Like, you know, she'll say like, what got into you today? It's like some days she'll wake up and I've got everything ready to go. Other days I'm like, do you have my coffee or tea ready? You know, it's like, it's balance. It's balance. I mean, if you're married and you've got that, I mean, there's days that your wife and you, it's the yin and yang. There's some give and take days, and there's some days where it's like, you know, you're taking more, and there's some days you're giving more. So you've got to have that good balance. But I mean, trying to have like that plan in the morning to where you can have everything ready. And for me, it starts the night before, because like, I'll be like, okay, I got to get her coffee, because I drink tea now. I haven't drank coffee in a few years. I'll get the pot ready for that. I'll get her coffee ready, my daughter's vitamins ready, because, you know, if we got that all ready, then I think we're in a good spot to head forward to, because like, you know, our daughter's school's changed now. She goes 2 days a week on campus, 3 days a week off campus.
Right.
You know, and it's just everything has changed, you know, and I think people adjust, you know, but it's that hard adjusting period. So I think balancing, you know, having somebody good that you can bounce things off, because like there's days where I'm not as effective as I need to be in the morning, and she's better, and vice versa.
So your advice is find a key partner.
Find a good partner. Find a good partner, and make sure you're not always on the taking end of it, because that's not okay. I mean, but yeah, the balance part of it's big for us.
Well, we're running short on time. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with our viewers that we didn't cover today?
You know, I just think that everybody, like I said, one of the things that's key to that is take care of yourself. I mean, realize that we're all trying to get back to that normal. It's never going to be what it was, but the new normal can be a lot better if you're taking care of your mental, physical health, doing what's right by yourself. And, you know, if you're a religious person, if you're not a religious person, you know, be good in your faith. And try to find time for your family and work and get that balance. That's a hard thing, but I think if you can find that, it's a whole lot smoother than what you're dealing with by not. And just, you know, take care of yourself. That's the big thing. Take care of yourself. Get that positive time to where you're taking Aakash time. Go out and come get an IV. Yeah. You know, go get that workout like you know. You say every other day. You need to get every day.
I know you sound like my goals group, and we got to do it twice a week or 3 times a week. But Stephen, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. We're so honored to work with you.
Same. We appreciate you.
And you know, I think what we'll do is we'll put your website and your locations on our screen here. And we'd love to have you back. And thank you so much for
anytime you want. Thank you. Appreciate you guys having us out.
Of course. This is Aakash Patel with Elevate Inc., and you've been watching Season 1, Episode 21 of our podcast. Thanks so much for joining.